Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help, and welcome back to another video today. Thank you guys for all of the continued support on the channel and leaving your comments down below and subscribing and liking my videos. It really means the world to me. Without farther ado though, I'm going to get into today's video. You guys have been seeming to loving the kind of discussion ramble type videos, and I really appreciate that because I love recording them. But today we have an interesting topic. This might be a little controversial, but today we're going to be talking about alts. Now, people might not say I have the right to talk about alts because I play an Ironman account and there is no such thing as alting an Ironman account. I mean, you can get help with Slayer or something like that. I don't know if they patched that now, but yeah, who am I to say anything about alts? Now, back in pre-EOC and even a little bit during EOC, I actually made an account, and this is kind of where I started my YouTube channel off, and I made a progression series on that account. But anyways, that account was my alt basically, and I used it to help me fund maxing and help me buy a lot of the higher equipment later in the game. Now, basically what an alt is an account that you can play on the side of your main account to generate gold for you. And this is 100% allowed by Jagex. You are allowed to play an alt. Some people play up to 10 different alts. It just depends. There's so many different types you can do, all the way from a Cannonball alt, which makes 100k an hour, all the way to a Rune Dragon's alt, or even something like a Vorkath alt. And there's also different types, like I was saying. So there are ones that are AFK, where you can fully focus on your main account on the side, and then there's ones that are where you have to pay attention to while you're, say, doing an AFK activity on your main account. The whole point of this is generating money that you can swap over to your main account. This can be used for gear, equipment, supplies, or even to buy membership through bonds. And I know tons of people who actually play on an alt or multiple different alts, and this funds their membership on both accounts, and they even have gold left over. Now, is playing an alt worth it? It is after it's already created. It does take a long time, depending on the type of alt. Some alts can be made within an hour, like a Cannonball alt, for example. Other alts can take a year to set up, depending on which type of alt it is. For Rune Dragon's alt, you have to finish Dragon Slayer 2 on your other account, and that takes months and months to get all the quest points, get all the skills for that. But once it's done, you have an account that can be generating millions of gold per hour. So it is kind of worth it at the end, and I'm going to be talking about that today. Is it fair to use an alt on Runescape? Yes and no. Yes, it is fair because you're doing everything yourself. You're just swapping over the gold to your main account. It does kind of make the high scores a little fishy or whatever, but then again, most people are playing Ironman accounts now anyway, so then alts wouldn't help them. And overall, I think it is really good. It's for people who are trying to be really efficient. They use an alt account to make a couple mil GP an hour on the side, or even fund their membership. And I think this is a brilliant thing to do, just funding your membership through an alt account. And if you can get one set up that won't take too long, then I definitely think it's worth your time. And for example, I could use an alt to help my Ironman account, but with just membership. So I could, for example, make a Gargoyle alt on the side and camp gargoyles every day, all day, while I'm playing this account, just AFK, with the Guthin setup or whatever, and, make, I don't even know how much I would make a month, 30 mil maybe, 30, 40 mil a month, just playing a couple hours a day, obviously, and then, buy a bunch of bonds and use them to fund that account, and then to fund the Ironman account. And I think this is a really smart technique to do. The only problem with starting an alt is doing all the questing, getting all the stuff for it, and even getting your first little bit of starter money. If you do have a main account, you can actually swap over some gold to help the alt get started, and then eventually the alt will be, generating so much money that it can pay it back and more. And the whole point of an alt is to try to get enough money to pay for the bonds for that account so that you don't have to spend your real life money on an alt, and then makes enough money to make it worth it for you. Now, there are people that can play, I'm going to say, realistically, you could probably play 4 alts at the same time. Maybe 4, maybe 3 in your main. It just depends on the activity that you're doing, obviously. For something that's very AFK, even something like Gargoyles, I'm going to use that again as an example. If you can have 4 of those going at the same time, you could be generating 3 to 4 mil an hour, and that's on top of what you're doing on your main. So you could do really expensive methods of training, like fletching darts or anything. If you just want to save up for equipment or whatever, just play your alt for a 10-hour day, and then you can buy whatever gear you really want, maybe excluding a twisted bow. So overall, I think it is worth making an alt if you want to put the effort in, and I think it is fair because you're still doing everything yourself. You know what I mean? You're still making the account, you're still doing all the quests for the account. It's not like you're botting, you're just AFKing on the side. And if you want to do an intensive method while you're AFKing on your main, then yeah, 100% I think it is worth doing. And it helps me so much on pre-EOC to help me afford those really expensive buyables like crafting and, you know, construction and stuff like that. And eventually it helps me get all the tier 90 gear that was in RuneScape 3 at the time. And, you know, it's a lot of fun just having 2 accounts at once. It makes you really focused all the time, and it can get really, really tedious to play multiple accounts at once. I don't have an alt or anything, but I have my new account, the Tutorial Island Twisted Bow account, and sometimes I just find myself not wanting to play 2 accounts at once. It can be a lot. Even if you're doing 2 AFK activities or whatever, it can be a lot mentally to focus on 2 accounts at once. But if you do have the mindset for it and you want to, you know, generate money or generate membership through it, then 100% I think it is worth your time. I'm going to be making a video, like I said, talking about like the top 10 alts I would recommend making, but just ones that I can think of off the top of my head. A very easy starter one, which you can kind of make it with like steps, you know what I mean? So you make it with, when it has lower stats, you can make it like a cannonball alt where you can generate 100k an hour, just play it, see how you like playing the 2 accounts at once, something like that. And then once you play the account more, get some more quest points, get some achievements or whatever stats out of the way, you get some more money on the account, you can eventually turn it into like a wyverns alt, a gargoyle alt, anything. You can even make an abyssal demon alt where you just camp abyssal demons all day, fill your inventory up with whips, and you're making a lot of money. It is seriously really good. If you can find a really good AFK alt to play on the side, you can generate so much money and help you towards maxing that 100% guys, I think it is worth making. Back in the day, I used to think that when someone played an alt or a couple alts on the side, I thought it was like cheating the game, but we've kind of moved out of having fun with the game and being just efficient at all times. And I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing. I think it's the fact that we're all growing up and getting a lot more older and more mature. Our time's more valuable to us now than it was when we were kids. So I think it is worth it, especially if you're just going for max efficiency and you want to get things done as quick as possible. But remember, this game, it's a game, and always try and have fun. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do have any more suggestions of these types of topics that you would like me to talk about, leave it down below in the comments. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya later.